the sports show coming into your living room in HD or something like it. Mike Max, Pat REUSSE, Eric Nelson, and Sid Hartman in tonight. And boy, we got a lot to talk about tonight, a lot of different sports. Let's start with an official statement on the Gophers. People, they beat Wisconsin in overtime. People get a little bit excited. Then today you figure at worst case scenario it's going to be competitive, and it was not competitive.
Well, they get 15 ahead.
Right.
And I think Iowa's a pretty good basketball team. I think that guy's done a pretty good recruiting job.
He might be a pretty good coach.
All freshmen and juniors. He's going to have a pretty good basketball program there. Gophers, they just aren't that good. That's all. Let's face the facts. The bench is terrible. I mean, he thinks the bench is good. Maybe I don't know how he figures the bench is good when they go in and score 4 points a whole game, the last 2-3 games. Mabakwe, he needs help. He doesn't have any help. Hollins and Mabakwe are the only, the two Hollins and Mabakwe are decent. Joe Coleman's done nothing. He made his 2 free throws the other day. It's the first thing he's done since the Purdue game.
Patrick?
I agree with Sid. They're not that good. Mabakwe's a shadow of himself, in my opinion. He looks a step slow from what he was before the knee injury. To me, he doesn't look the same. There's no explosiveness. Joe Coleman can't shoot. Rodney Williams is hurt, can't shoot when he is healthy. Austin Hollins is not a shooter. You got a team with one shooter, Andre Hollins, and he can't dribble. He shouldn't be playing point guard. He should be playing off guard, but he's got to play point guard because they don't have another point guard. I overrated this team completely. I apologize to everyone.
I do too.
Very mediocre.
I do too.
Eric, your thoughts?
Well, they've got no perimeter game.
You're
like
limited
Patrick
now,
said.
yeah.
I have a quota on what I can say here. Sid doesn't want me to talk too much. But they have no perimeter game, and anytime they see a zone defense, they go into a shell. They can't figure out a way to beat it. Iowa's better, but that's a game you got to win
I'm surprised here they sold out Carver Hawkeye today. Apparently they've got a buzz going there.
What else is there to do in Iowa City?
But they didn't sell out for a long time, you know?
Yeah,
no, they've been
about
down.
the last 15 years, they found plenty else to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Alford regime?
Illinois all of a sudden found themselves, they're killing Northwestern tonight. They've won 3 games in a row. Iowa's won 3 games in a row. Iowa's lost 4 games where they were ahead in the last minute.
Right, that's what they look like.
Including the game here.
They were my surprise pick of the year. I picked them to finish in the top 4 in the league, and then they started off, 0-5 in the league or something. Mm-hmm. So, But
how many teams will go from the Big Ten? You got to be 7 at least.
No, well, that's the maximum. Because, there's 5 that won't. We counted them up walking down the steps today. There's 5 that won't.
5 that no way, you mean.
Yeah, Northwestern.
But I think probably 7. But the Gophers got to win a couple of games. They can't just lose them all.
But I don't think they can help but win a couple of games.
Well, they'll be Nebraska and Penn State.
They go to Ohio State. Then Indiana. Here at the barn. You going to tell me they're going to win those 2?
One game they might win. They got Penn State here. They got to play at Purdue.
They
got to play at Nebraska.
Could keep them out.
They got to play Indiana here, and they got to play at Ohio State. The only game they'll be favored in will be the Penn State game here.
Well, Nebraska.
At Nebraska.
At Nebraska?
Yeah.
So but next year doesn't look that good right now, with the current roster. What's your take on the state of the program?
Well, the one kid that's invited to the McDonald game, he's pretty good. The other kid's pretty good, too. They got 2 pretty good players from Chicago.
How about Bugs? Can he play?
I don't know. We don't see enough of these guys practice and whatnot.
Let me hear about him. Bugs.
They say he can play.
Maybe he should be playing.
Remember, though, there is no one that is higher on red shirts in football or basketball or any program. This man right here, man. The red shirt class is always outstanding.
I tell you,
Bugs is a big, skinny kid. I guess they want to put some weight on him.
Boy, are they lucky that Wisconsin chose not to make a basket for 11 minutes.
No, they're even luckier that Wisconsin's point guard blew his knee out before the year, so they don't have a true point guard either,
No.
So,
I don't know, Sid. People are really down on the dumpster, though. I got in a battle with people today blaming the players. Everybody wants to blame the coach. I was blaming the players today.
Do they?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
who do you blame?
Would I blame? I'm a Bud Grant guy. Players win, coaches help win a few games.
I knew that was coming, too. The Sports Show, plenty more to talk about. The Wild even find a way to win today. Stay with us. Well, I got to tell you, I was just there last night. Of all people, I ran into Jay Pivick.
Really?
Yeah,
How's he doing out at Dakota County Technical?
They won yesterday, 51-48. And he was in there celebrating with Johnny Tower from St. Thomas, and they'd watched, I think, De La Salle play Cretin. And boy, that place is packed on Saturday nights, Patrick.
Hoyts, yeah. Or Fridays.
Who was that?
J.D. Hoyts.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, just packed. The Twins, official statement.
Well, I don't know. You talk to Terry Ryan, he's pretty optimistic. I can't understand why he's optimistic, but he is. He keeps on saying we're going to score runs. Who outside of Morneau and
Mauer and Willingham.
and Mauer are going to get hits for that team? Tell me.
Willingham and I don't know.
Patrick, what do you think, honestly, going in? Give me a projection on Justin Morneau. But, it's last year's contract and all that. But we really don't know what to expect from him anymore, do we?
No, he's 3 years of being injured. He says he's healthy. He said he had his first off-season workouts. I guess the only thing he can do is go back to 2010. Before he got kicked in the head, he was probably going to have his best year.
So maybe, who knows?
Can he do it? I don't know.
But let me ask you this. Cleveland's added Bourne. They've added Swisher. They've added a few other people. Huh?
Yeah.
Detroit has got everybody back. They're pretty good. Kansas City made that trade with Tampa. They finally got one stopper pitcher. And the White Sox apparently are sold on some of the young kids. Where does this club go?
Well, they're favored to finish last. There's no doubt about it. Again, that doesn't mean they will, but they're favorites.
Well, 99 losses, 96 losses. If they only lose 81, that's a major leap. I mean, 500 would be a huge achievement in my eyes. And I think, like Sid says, the division got better in the offseason. I don't know how the Twins got better.
What would Ron Gardenhire do different as a manager to try to jumpstart this team? What can he do? What's in his grasp? What can he do that he hasn't done?
Play your best lineup every day. Don't have the attitude that everybody's got to play. You don't play Butera when he's hitting 123. You don't play some other guys hitting 145. I look at the Yankee lineup, it's pretty much the same every day. Their best players. The Red Sox, their best players.
Okay, Patrick, what could Ron Gardenhire do?
Nothing, but what you can do is get lucky, like Baltimore and Oakland did last year, and you play better early than you think you're going to.
A couple pitchers are better than you thought they were?
But they're not going to be 500. They might win in the high 70s, but they got to show some progress, and then maybe next year with some of the youngsters, they'll be. Here's the only thing that could happen to them is if this Arcia or somebody like that is so damn good that by June he's playing right field for you. I mean, if you're playing Chris Parmalee in right field, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, he can have a halfway decent year, but he's not a difference maker.
Right, he can get 260.
This Arcia, everything you hear, he could be a difference maker. That's what they need. They need somebody to show up and be a difference maker.
More than one. A couple.
Eric, do you think that the folks have grown tired of Target Field? Will that fade fast, do you think?
I think the honeymoon's over.
You think it's over or not?
I think if they're not competitive into May, and let's say they're 15 and 35, you're going to see a lot of empty seats. A lot of kids are going to get fouled.
You're going to see a lot of empty seats in April. Here's the problem.
April 1, they open up at home.
Here's their biggest problem. They got 15 April home games, and they got 16 home games after Labor Day. They got the worst schedule in the history of baseball. So they're going to announce about 2.2 million this year.
But don't you think they're
going to be under 30 the whole month of April?
Don't they have to get back to the success they had earlier where they played good defense and pitched the ball well?
I think they tried,
but I mean, that used to be their staple. They're sloppy.
They need Plouffe to have a heck of a year.
Everything you guys say is true, but boy, you're banking on some long shots here.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Everything that we're talking about is it could happen, but the odds aren't good.
I don't detect fever. I don't.
Well, who's going to play center field?
Fever.
Could you go out and sit in line for single game season tickets for April game?
Why bother?
Why bother?
You can show up that day.
Yeah, if it's 70 degrees, I'll go. And if it, you know.
Yeah, but hey, everybody says it's the buyer's market. The more the season ticket base goes down, the less of a buyer market it is. Because then you got to go to the box office and buy the tickets. You like it when there's a lot of season tickets in circulation and people don't want to go to the game.
Although some of those guys standing on First and Hennepin, they are struggling.
Yeah.
Last year they couldn't give them
Well,
away.
the difference with this club, they're all signing bargain basement guys. Like I said, Cleveland spent some money.
Kind of like the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. They don't spend any money.
Kind of like the free agents he signed last year.
Yeah.
Rick Spielman.
What?
Yeah. They didn't sign anybody last year, but they've done a pretty good job of signing people.
But you guys are baseball guys. I heard you talk to Terry Ryan today. Kyle Loesch is still out there. Why wouldn't they even think about a guy like Kyle Loesch when they need pitching?
They're not going to give up first-round pick.
Well, I understand that, but they need pitching.
Actually, they don't have to give up a second-rounder because they finished in the bottom 15.
But they don't make an effort for guys like that. Like you said, Shields is going to Kansas City. It's a big-time starter.
Yeah, but what would it make? What would if you got Kyle Loesch in there? You might win.
He might be the ace,
76 games instead of 74.
He'd be the ace.
You know, I know.
Take a break, come back, stay with us.
They aren't going to give up Carlo.
Stop on by, visit Bruce Bonine and the whole group. Audi Minneapolis, yeah, right there off of 394 and General Mills Boulevard. Check out the Q7, perfect all-wheel drive for the entire.
I hope the Gophers are happy scheduling that game in Soldier Field today. It might cost them the WCHA title.
Yeah, it probably will.
3-2. They're better than Wisconsin, but it was like playing on a.
I didn't see the game. I was
playing on a gravel.
I was at the
pad.
Wild game where Eric
Puck was bouncing all over.
It was a Wisconsin home game too. They got very little money. How many people they have there?
What they announced, and what were there are two far different things.
Yeah, but let me ask you.
They announced.
They were going to announce 50 somebody said.
But here's a bigger question. All these outdoor hockey games have been played over the years. I was just looking at the history of it. 2001 was the first one. Minnesota's never hosted outdoor hocky in college or professional hockey?
No.
Why not? I mean, Minnesota? Why not?
Well, why do you want to? Maxie, I think most people attend events with the idea they can actually see what's happening.
I tell you what.
Put a hockey arena, a rink, in the middle of Soldier Field, in the middle of the place.
Yep.
Nobody's within 60 yards of the puck.
Yep.
And you're going to say you're having a good time? Unless you're a complete idiot. Why are you enjoying yourself?
Well, I wouldn't enjoy watching in those conditions, but here you could do you could do it right. You could do a high school game and then Duluth against St. Cloud and the Gophers against Mankato and Bemidji State, you know?
But one thing about the NHL, Maxie, there are cities lined up for this thing, and now they got to go back to Ann Arbor because they missed that big house game with the Laka. Until the Wild are in the playoffs and are relevant for NBC, we won't get it. They have to be a team that America wants to watch. So if they don't make the playoffs this year, that delays it, in my opinion.
As a spectator, I don't know what the bargain is.
No.
Well, they like it for TV.
Huh?
They like it for TV for the same reasons they like to play Sunday night games in Lambeau Field in December.
It's going to say you were there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go. No, I wouldn't do that in 100 years.
Cleveland, they won it.
Well, the Wild won a game today.
Yeah, Eric, there was a good crowd there. They were down 2-0, and all of a sudden they scored 3 in a row. Backstrom's not in the nets, and they find a way to win.
2 straight games, they've had 3 goals after going 6 games with only 1 goal. So.
And they have 5 guys now, 22 years or younger. Zucker had a goal. Mitchell had a goal. Kemper was in the nets tonight.
It's interesting. I was talking to Anna Burnett about that the other night, and it is true if you look at it. That's what the NHL is now with the cap. High-end guys and young guys, and very few.
Are you there?
Brodziak's like the only middle-of-the-road guy in that whole locker room. Everybody else is either way up here or they're just coming in.
I like Zucker. He's a rollerblade guy.
You were there?
Oh, of course. I don't miss Wild games on Sunday afternoon. You know that.
Joe, what a liar.
But now there's talk that, depending on who you talk to in the hockey world, that they got to put Koivu and Parisi on 2 different lines, and that will cure their offensive woes, Patrick. You don't look like you're sold on that.
What offensive woes has Koivu ever cured?
I don't know, but
he's a defensive forward. Last year, he was he did get hurt, I guess, for a while, but he doesn't cure offensive woes. He needs somebody to cure his offensive woes. He should stay right there with Parisi, in my opinion.
How about Suter, your impressions?
He's underachieved. There's no question. I mean, for what they're paying him, they got to get a lot more. But the win tonight might be a step. They actually got a regulation win where they got 2 points and the opponent got 0.
I'm going to say this again. This whole configuration, and Patrick, you've talked about it before. You know what happens when they finish every regulation in a tie? Well, they got a point. That's the first thing they say. Do you win or you lose? That's all anybody cares about. This shootout is this stupid. Okay, I don't mind the shootout, but then you won the game or you lost the game. There's none of this.
You shouldn't get a point for a loss.
We kind of lost.
But you get a point, so you won something.
Well, I know, but it counts.
Yeah, why?
You don't do that in any other league.
I know, but people seem to like that.
I don't think so.
I just get confused. All they're trying to do is pad everybody's record.
Well, you're kind of confused all the time.
Oh, Sydney with another right to the...
I think they're fine. I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think it's a big issue. I think they'll be fine.
This team, you mean?
Yes. And then everybody will be happy. But I hope for Coach Yo's sake they make the playoffs because Craig Leopold did. Craig Leopold, when he has a cash call now to get $20 million to sign Parisse and Suter, there's only one person he's calling, his wife.
Yeah, his wife.
The other guy's out of the picture.
Yeah.
Well, he did call all the owners. They all came up with the money.
He owns more of the team than he used to, however, because of cash calls.
Yeah.
Because he's paying it himself.
It's a good thing they won tonight, though.
Maybe Stanley is no longer there.
There were pockets of empty seats for Detroit, and it was a very quiet crowd until they had those 3 goals in the second period.
There is a theory out there that the premise of him buying those 2 players was that he wants to sell the team eventually, and so it's not he'll pay them because he wants to create a value for the team, Patrick.
Maybe you know more about it than I do, but I think he's a. I think he loves.
I'm just saying that's one of the things that you hear out there.
Well, I know his guy in New York came up with the money. He told me that.
His guy in New York, though, probably can never be the majority owner of this team.
He might be in jail.
Well, I was going to say he probably can never be the majority owner.
Huh?
He probably can never be the majority owner, right?
Not anymore.
So, you know, take a break, come back, stay with us.
He told me, the guy.
There it is. Wayne Kostrowski and his crew want to thank all the local sponsors that made it happen. Eric, we were talking about you were out there for the Super Bowl. It was quite the foray, quite the buzz.
Yeah, Wayne gets it done. That's the top party of Super Bowl week. Our own Wayne Kostrowski. It all started right here at Super Bowl 26.
Vikings. Official statement.
Spielman had his press conference Friday. He said, under no circumstances will we trade
Percy Hartman.
Well, here's the point.
I think it would have been very smart of him to say, we want to trade Percy. We want to trade Percy Hartman, so don't make us a decent offer.
Yeah.
I would think that this week they're talking to a lot of people about Percy Hartman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Seattle would be, you know, if Bevel likes him, they'd be a team that would have an interest.
They better get something if they give him away.
All right, I got a question for you two geniuses.
Yeah.
Was there a date certain by which they had to tell Les Frazier if they were picking up his option, or is
I don't know.
Don't they want to pick up? What I'm surprised
to extend
he
it
didn't
to
get
14.
Extended.
I think they told him when it was announced. I think all the time they were going to give him a multi-year contract. But I saw some of the figures on what they took in this year, and they were way down. Many millions of dollars less than gate receipts.
Well, I'm feeling sorry for Zig because he's getting that $1 billion stadium, and it's going to probably cost him about $38 cash. Once
well, that's what I'm saying.
Licenses.
Isn't that kind of that's just a little drop in the ocean if they were down this year, because what they've got coming in the form of that stadium cures everything.
Cover that way?
I mean, you don't have to be worried about money if you're Ziggy Wilf right now. A few $1 million to Leslie Frazier with what you've got coming in the form of this stadium.
I'm not worried about him. But I'm just saying that this year, they were way down in gate receipts.
Well, that could be, but I'm just saying that I wouldn't think would have any bearing on a Frazier contract extension.
No. Yeah, maybe he did have a bearing on it.
Because you know you're getting a new stadium that's going to make you a lot of money.
He's still talking about this year. They don't know what the guy can do next year. They got some serious free agents. They got a right tackle they got to sign. Next year, They got 5 of their best players they got to sign.
Okay. Would you, Eric, rather see a retractable roof, but the retractable roof can darken things as opposed to a lot of glass?
Here's my theory. I'm going to write about this. When they built Mariucci Arena,
oh, that's right.
They had no plans for escalators. So Ron Horst and Opus put the thing in. They paid for the escalators. So now I want Mortensen, because they got this deal, and they're going to make $12.5 million to put the retractable roof.
Why don't Ziggy put it in?
Well, here's the
Why doesn't Ziggy put it in?
But he's
spending nothing.
Your paper said it's $25 to $50 million to add a retractable.
So $12.5 million is not going to get it done.
But that's got to happen, because look at all these stadiums built.
I say fix roof, then we don't get soccer.
Dallas.
If that secures it,
the only city that's built a dome in the last